Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. Dynamite tonight was from the Fertitta Center in Houston, Texas, and this was Wild Card Wednesday on Dynamite tonight, is what they called the show. And Dynamite tonight, I thought it was a very enjoyable show. It was a good show. We had four Owen Hart Foundation Tournament matches. We had three of them being quarterfinal matches and one being the semifinals match. We also saw Hangman and Paige. He ended up taking on Konosuke, Takashita. We had Swerve, Strickland, and Keith Lee versus the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake. We had two Jokers in the quarterfinals match in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, one for the men, one for the women, which I will get to explain who the Jokers were. We had Kyle O'Reilly versus Ray Fenix in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament quarterfinals match. And in the main event, we had Adam Cole versus Jeff Hardy in a semifinals match for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And we also saw Wardlow take the 10 lashes. But overall, Dynamite tonight was an enjoyable show, as always. But let's get on with the review. Dynamite opened up tonight with the Owen Hart Foundation quarterfinals match. It was Samoa Joe versus the Joker. And who was the Joker? Was it Johnny Gargano, as I wanted it to be? I was saying, it could be Johnny Gargano or maybe even Claudio, a.k.a. Cesaro. Did we get Johnny Gargano or Claudio Cesaro? We got John Morrison. We got Johnny Elite, as what they were calling him. So, because we all were thinking, this might be Johnny Gargano coming out. But no, it was John Morrison. And in my opinion, I was kind of disappointed in that, because I was expecting Gargano. But this is a guy that when we last saw him, he was in WWE teaming with The Miz and had dripsticks filled with water, shooting water from the dripsticks, and having his own show called Moist TV. Absolute cringe and awful that was. But this was a good match here between Samoa Joe and John Morrison here. So, or as they would call him, Johnny Elite. So, we had Samoa Joe and Johnny. They end up locking up. Samoa Joe ended up taking a few shots to Johnny, and he delivered a chop to him. Johnny ended up picking down at Samoa Joe's ankle. He ended up taking Joe down to the mat. Joe ended up getting to the ropes. Johnny was looking to go for a few kicks to Joe, but Joe ended up nailing a few kicks of his own. He then delivered another huge chop to Johnny. So Johnny came back, started delivering some punches to Joe, and he ended up kicking Joe. But Joe then ended up charging through Johnny. Johnny ended up managing to drop Joe again. He delivered a kick to Joe's face. He then did a cartwheel into a clothesline to Joe, which looked pretty good. And that sent Samoa Joe to the outside. Johnny followed it up by flipping off the top rope, and he took Joe down. Johnny then ended up sending Joe into the barricade a couple of times, and Joe responded and threw Johnny into the barricade. Had some very good force there. by him throwing Johnny into the barricade. So both guys were in the ring. Johnny was looking to charge into the corner at Joe, but Joe was already ready and waiting for Johnny, and Joe delivered a STO to Johnny, which he ended up going for the cover, and Johnny kicked out. Johnny tried to get back into the match, but Joe ended up running into him. He spinned Johnny in midair. Joe then ended up pinning a inverted atomic drop to Johnny and then laid him out with a big boot. And then Joe did a huge senton to Johnny. Joe ended up going for the cover, to which Johnny kicked out. Johnny tried to lift Joe up onto his back. So we had Joe end up just dropping Johnny with a massive chop. Joe then ended up looking to go for the muscle buster, but Johnny ended up reversing it. He then dropped Joe down. So Johnny followed up with the 450 splash onto Joe. He couldn't get all of it. He couldn't get all of the 450 splash onto Joe. So Johnny ended up going for the cover, to which Joe kicked out. Johnny then ended up nailing Joe with a knee strike. He was aiming to go for the Starship Pain, and Joe ended up getting his knees up. So Joe ended up rushing Johnny into the corner, started delivering some slaps and punches, and then Joe followed up with the muscle buster to Johnny. Joe went for the cover, and there you go. Samoa Joe ended up winning the match. Samoa Joe will be moving on to the semifinals. Post-match, we had Sonjay Dutt and Jay Lethal. They end up jumping Samoa Joe, and of course, the Great Value version of the Great Khali, Satnam Singh, end up holding Samoa Joe up so Sonjay Dutt and Jay Lethal can attack him. And they attacked Samoa Joe with a steel pipe. So the best friends end up coming into the ring, and they end up making the save. And that was basically that. But overall, this was a very good match between Samoa Joe and Johnny Elite, John Morrison, whatever you want to call him. But I was disappointed that he was the Joker. I was expecting, like I said, Johnny Gargano or Claudio Cesaro. I was expecting them too, but we got Johnny Elite instead. But still, very good match. And like I said, Samoa Joe is moving on to the semifinals of the tournament. But this Owen Hart Foundation tournament has been very good, has been very enjoyable, and it has been booked great. So Tony Khan's doing a good job with this tournament. So then we went backstage, and it was revealed that Jeff Hardy was medically cleared to compete later on in the night against Adam Cole. So the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick, end up appearing. They end up telling Jeff that they know it's tough on his body and that they want Jeff to take the night off. They end up saying that if Jeff doesn't take the night off, Adam Cole will beat him. So Matt Hardy ended up saying that his brother will be fine because he's a real Hardy, not a Hardy cosplayer. So Matt Hardy ended up saying that if they get involved tonight, they won't be the only Undisputed Elite members getting their ass whipped. So there you go. That was that. So Jeff Hardy was medically cleared to compete against Adam Cole in the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament quarterfinals match. And then we had Hangman and Paige versus Konosuke Takashita. This was an awesome match here, very good match. We had CM Punk on commentary doing the match, to which Punk was great on commentary. Always love to listen to what Punk has to say as, he's doing commentary. But we had Hangman and Paige. He came out, then Konosuke Takashita, he ended up coming out. Suke ended up wasting no time. He ended up charging into Hangman and Paige with a big boot. And he started trading punches with Paige. Paige turned the match around. He ended up launching Suke out of the ring. He then dived over the top rope and took Suke out. So Paige ended up sending Suke back into the ring. And it took too long. He took too long as Suke ended up launching himself over the ropes to wipe out Paige. So both guys were back inside the ring. Suke ended up trying to leap over the top rope. Paige ended up pushing him down. And he then got onto the ring apron, delivered a chop to Suke. Paige ended up getting rocked with an elbow by Suke. Suke ended up charging at him. So Paige ended up using the momentum to lift Suke up. He ended up dropping him down to the ring apron, which, of course, the ring apron is the hardest portion of the ring. So Paige followed up with a moonsault from the top turnbuckle, which looked awesome. So both guys were back inside the ring. Paige ended up pinning the Death Valley driver, and Paige ended up going for the cover. Suke ended up kicking out. Suke ended up following it up with a Blue Thunder Bomb, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Paige ended up kicking out, only for Suke to dive over the ropes, and he ended up wiping out Paige. Suke then ended up hitting a haluva kick, and he ended up doing it again to Paige. So both men ended up trading German suplexes, and then Suke and Paige then ended up hitting a double clothesline, and both guys were down. So as Suke and Paige end up getting to their feet, both guys end up trading punches. Paige then ended up hitting the pile driver, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Suke kicked out. So at the end of the match, we had Suke end up aiming for a diving lariat. Paige ended up catching Suke in midair with a forearm. Paige ended up setting up Suke on the top rope, but Suke ended up sending him off. Paige landed on his feet, and he came in with a clothesline and a buckshot lariat to Suke. But then Hangman and Paige delivered the GTS. He hit the GTS on Suke as he stared CM Punk down, to which Punk was at the commentary table. So Paige ended up going for the cover, and Paige ended up winning the match. Post-match, Punk got up from the commentary table. He was on the ramp. Paige ended up staring at Punk, and so he had a stare down between the both of them, which was awesome. So the crowd was pretty much chanting for Punk. And then we had Paige end up barging past Punk as Paige ended up making his way to the back. And that was that. But awesome stare down between Punk and Paige there. And they both are going to deliver at Double or Nothing, which is in 2 weeks. Can't wait for the match. So they're going to put on one hell of a match, both Punk and Paige. And then we have Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee versus the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake. And pretty much this was basically a squash match. I mean, Swerve and Keith Lee, they make a good tag team together. They're entertaining as a tag team. So the match started off with Keith Lee and Anthony Henry in the ring. The crowd was cheering, "Oh, bask in his glory," with Keith Lee in there. JD Drake ended up trying to chop Keith Lee, and it did nothing to Keith Lee. So Keith Lee ended up responding with a huge chop of his own to Anthony Henry. Swerve tagged in. Anthony Henry ended up catching Swerve with some kicks. And the crowd was chanting, "Whose house? Swerve's house." So Swerve and Keith Lee, they are over with the crowd, which is awesome. So Swerve ended up backing Anthony Henry into the corner. He leapt up and hit a back kick to Anthony Henry. Swerve then ended up leaping from the top rope to hit a drop kick to Anthony Henry, and he followed up with a flatliner. JD Drake ended up charging in. Swerve ended up avoiding JD Drake. Keith Lee tagged in. He dived onto JD Drake, and he lifted up Anthony Henry for a powerbomb, and Swerve ended up hitting a stomp combination from the top rope onto Anthony Henry. So Keith Lee and Swerve ended up winning the match. Post-match, Keith Lee, he got on the mic. Fans were chanting, bask in his glory. So Keith Lee ended up saying that with that victory, they have become a top 5 ranked tag team. Him and Swerve have become a top 5 ranked tag team. So then Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Will Hobbs, both of them end up making their way out. So Ricky Starks got on the mic. He ended up calling Keith Lee Rex from Toy Story, which was funny. And Swerve ended up saying that Keith Lee and Swerve are two selfish jabronis. He ended up saying that they deserved the title shot since he beat Jungle Boy. So Swerve mocked the outfit that Ricky Starks was wearing. He ended up saying that, Ricky Starks in that outfit looks like, a soap, which was funny. So then we had the Jurassic Express. We had Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They ended up coming out, along with Christian Cage. Christian got on the mic. He ended up saying that he wishes Ricky Starks was smart enough to know when to shut up. So Christian also mocked Ricky Starks' outfit that he was wearing. And Christian ended up saying he gets it. He ended up saying that Ricky Starks thinks he is ready for a real championship. Christian ended up saying that they're the best, and they are going to challenge them. So at Double or Nothing, it's going to be a 3-way for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So Christian ended up coming up with another idea, and that he wants Jungle Boy to get his win back over Ricky Starks and the man who cost him the match. So this is set up, Jungle Boy versus Ricky Starks versus Swerve Strickland next week on Dynamite. So should be, good match there for next week. So pretty much that was basically that. But squash match between Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland, and the Workhorsemen. I mean, obviously we knew Keith Lee and Swerve were going to win the match. But like I said, Keith Lee and Swerve, they make a good tag team. They're very entertaining. Keith Lee just said that him and Swerve have become a top 5 ranked tag team. So that's good for them. They're in the top 5. And then we went to Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone was backstage with Red Velvet and Chris Statlander. Red Velvet ended up saying that things are different now. So on Rampage this Friday, she hopes Chris Statlander brings everything. So Statlander ended up agreeing. She ended up saying that they have both changed, and that she has taken this opportunity to the top, and it is strictly business. So Jade Cargill ended up saying that, it's funny that Red Velvet tricked the alien girl into thinking they were friends. So pretty much that was basically that. So we're going to see that Friday on Rampage, Red Velvet versus Chris Statlander. And Rampage on Friday is going to start at 7 o'clock on TNT. So we're going to have Rampage for an hour at 7, followed by 2 hours of SmackDown. Bore down, as I would call it. So that's going to be taking place on Friday. So thank God we all don't have to sit till 11 o'clock on Friday and start off with SmackDown and then Rampage. And then we had Wardlow taking the 10 lashings from MJF. So MJF ended up coming out. MJF ended up saying that he is looking at a bunch of dumb, fat hicks. So of course he came out along with Shawn Spears. So MJF ended up reminding Wardlow that if Wardlow touches him, their match is off. So Wardlow ended up coming to the ring, of course, with the security. So as Wardlow got into the ring, MJF then spat on Wardlow. So MJF ended up delivering the first whip to Wardlow. And these 10 lashings, with MJF, this is the same thing that he did with Cody Rhodes. So MJF delivered the first whip. Wardlow was just laughing. So MJF delivered a second lashing to Wardlow. Wardlow did not flinch or anything. These all lashings did not faze Wardlow. Wardlow took these lashings like a man. So MJF got frustrated with Wardlow. So he was unloading a flurry of strikes on Wardlow. Shawn Spears ended up pulling MJF back. Wardlow was still not being bothered by that. So Shawn Spears took some lashings to Wardlow. Spears ended up hitting 2 lashings to Wardlow. And it did nothing. The lashings did nothing to Wardlow here from Shawn Spears also. So Spears ended up telling MJF that he's got 1 whip left. So MJF was looking to hit 1 more lashing to Wardlow, but he did not hit 1 more lashing to Wardlow. MJF then low-blowed Wardlow. So Wardlow was handcuffed during all this, during the lashings. So MJF and Shawn Spears, they were just beating Wardlow down with the belt. MJF then ended up putting on the Dynamite Diamond ring, and he nailed Wardlow with the ring. Spears then ended up hitting the C4 onto Wardlow, which he connected with that. And so MJF ended up going to pin Wardlow as Spears made the 3 count. And that was basically that. That was how the segment ended. But overall, this was an enjoyable segment. Wardlow took those lashings like a man. And it didn't even do anything to him. It didn't even faze Wardlow. So, Wardlow is not afraid of MJF. So, but we've seen, this done before with MJF, where MJF did it to Cody Rhodes, the whole feud that they had, which was a very good feud between them. Overall, this was an enjoyable segment. And then we had Trent Beretta. Trent Beretta was backstage with Rocky Romero, Roppongi Vice. I think that's how you pronounce the name. But Trent ended up saying that Roppongi Vice is back full time. So Rocky Romero was like, oh, we want the ROH tag team titles, or the AEW tag team titles, or even the IWGP tag team titles. So Trent ended up laying down a challenge to FTR. So, we might be seeing, Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, Roppongi Vice versus FTR. Should be a good match there. And then we had Kyle O'Reilly versus Rey Fenix. Owen Hart Foundation quarterfinals match. This was a awesome match here. Very good match. O'Reilly and Fenix gave it all they got here in this match. Very good wrestling. And it was a very physical match. So Kyle O'Reilly started out the match by bringing Rey Fenix down. So both O'Reilly and Fenix, they were trading kicks and chops. Fenix ended up trying to go to the top turnbuckle. O'Reilly ended up stopping Fenix from going to the top. O'Reilly ended up pulling Fenix down. So Fenix was too quick at that. So he ended up springboarding with a drop kick to Kyle O'Reilly. Fenix ended up following up by launching himself out of the ring, which sent O'Reilly into the barricade. So O'Reilly ended up catching Fenix into a sleeper, and Fenix ended up getting into the ropes. So both O'Reilly and Fenix ended up heading out of the ring. O'Reilly ended up sending Fenix into the ring post, to which O'Reilly followed up with a kick. And Fenix ended up replying in the same way. He ended up throwing Kyle O'Reilly into the post. So O'Reilly ended up sitting Fenix down on a chair. He ended up charging in with a drop kick to Fenix. So both guys were inside the ring again. O'Reilly ended up focusing on Fenix's arm. So we had Fenix end up fighting back on O'Reilly, started delivering some chops. And we had O'Reilly end up trying to attack Fenix. Fenix ended up leaping to the top rope and nailed a kick to O'Reilly's face. Fenix ended up trying to jump from the ropes, and O'Reilly ended up catching Fenix, connected with some butterfly suplexes. So both Fenix and O'Reilly were going for some strikes, and it led to both of them being down for a double count. O'Reilly ended up looking for a wrist lock, and Fenix ended up fighting back. O'Reilly ended up continuing his attack on Fenix. Fenix popped up and took down Kyle O'Reilly. So Fenix walked the top rope, and he hit a awesome Hurricanrana to the floor. That spot there was awesome, with Fenix doing that Hurricanrana to Kyle O'Reilly. And he ended up diving back in and delivered a cutter to O'Reilly, which that was awesome. And then O'Reilly ended up catching Fenix and locked in a submission. Fenix ended up focusing on trying to block the submission, and that allowed Kyle O'Reilly to catch Fenix with a pinfall. So there you go. Kyle O'Reilly ended up winning the match, and Kyle O'Reilly is moving on to the semifinals, which Kyle O'Reilly will be taking on Samoa Joe in the semifinals. Because the winner of this match will get to face Samoa Joe in the semifinals. But overall, this was a very good match, very entertaining match, very physical match, like I said. And O'Reilly and Fenix, the wrestling from both of them here was very good. So awesome match. And that spot with Fenix delivering that Hurricanrana to Kyle O'Reilly was awesome. And then we had the Chris Jericho and William Regal face-off. So we had Bryan Danielson end up coming out first, along with William Regal. And then Moxley and Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, they came out from the back. They went through the crowd. And then we had the Jericho Appreciation Society. end up coming out. So they were on the stage. Matt Menard ended up getting on the mic. And he ended up cutting the sing-along of Judas by the crowd. Jericho ended up pointing out that last week, the fans cheered the Jericho Appreciation Society of them getting attacked. Jericho ended up saying that, of course, the attack was created by William Regal. So Jericho was like to Regal, "Oh, it's good to see you." And he even stated that he thought William Regal would be dead by now. So Jericho ended up saying that Regal could have been one of the greatest, and that he should have been a world champion. But instead, he ended up as a world-class addict. So Jericho ended up pointing out that William Regal has been fired everywhere he's been, until he got here by his proteges. Jericho ended up saying that Santana and Ortiz are too stupid to know that everything they have is down to him. Of course, Santana and Ortiz were once part of the Inner Circle with Jericho. So Jericho ended up saying to Eddie Kingston that if his girl needs any help, she can give him a call. So we had Jericho end up turning his attention to Bryan Danielson. He ended up saying that Bryan Danielson is one of the greatest wrestlers nowadays. And he then ended up calling Bryan a nerd. And that if he stays with this group long enough, William Regal will shove whiskey down his throat until he has to join the program with Moxley. So Jericho then advised Regal to go home. And if Regal doesn't go home, he will throw a fireball in his face because he's a wizard, which he got taught by Alexa Bliss. Not really. I'm just joking about that because I'm like, Alexa Bliss did magic when she was in the whole, Bray Wyatt Fiend, gimmick which WWE gave to Alexa Bliss. So, which was stupid in my opinion. Alexa Bliss doing all this magic and the fireball shots. She shot a fireball at Randy Orton. But that's WWE. This is, AEW here. But I'm like, Jericho just learned all this from Alexa Bliss, if you think of it. But Jericho was like, maybe he'll do that. Or maybe he will piss in Regal's tea again. So William Regal was like to Jericho, I have known you since 1997. And that he has had to listen to Jericho's and that whiny voice since, he met him. He kept saying that Jericho hit a few home truths there. But one thing has kept him going, which is that every time he was on the show with Jericho, he would go to Jericho's bag, get his toothbrush, and stick it up his bottom. To which Daniel Garcia ended up saying, "That is disgusting." And William Regal ended up retaliating back to Daniel Garcia and saying to Daniel Garcia, "Oh, I did it to you last week." So Jericho ended up saying that they obviously want to fight. And at Double or Nothing, they challenged them to a stadium. But Moxley was like, no. We're not doing that shit again. So he ended up saying that Stadium Stampede was a different time and place. And this time it should be done live and in living color. Moxley ended up saying that it's them 5 versus them gang warfare, gang rules, madness until they're all bleeding like stuffed pigs. Moxley ended up going on to say that the sport they love versus a bunch of stupid bullshit. So Jericho ended up saying that they're a well-oiled machine. He'll point out the issues, the problems that people in the group have against each other. So Eddie Kingston ended up saying, "Oh, I don't care about buys or ratings." So he ended up telling the Jericho Appreciation Society to come in the ring and fight. And then Jericho ended up saying, "Forget it." So Jericho Appreciation Society ends up leaving. Eddie Kingston was looking to chase them down because Eddie Kingston was like, "Oh, if you're too scared to come into the ring, then how about I just follow you to the back?" So Eddie Kingston was looking to chase, Jericho Appreciation Society. Bryan ended up stopping Eddie Kingston, and Eddie Kingston was like to Bryan, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?" So Kingston and Bryan were arguing, and pretty much that was basically that. But overall, this was a good segment, but they didn't say what the stipulation for this match was going to be yet. My prediction, hopefully, it's a blood and guts match, and we get this at Blood and Guts. That would be an awesome match there. Having the Jericho Appreciation Society versus Bryan and also Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz in Blood and Guts. It would be awesome. Be a very good match there. And then we had Dante Martin and Matt Sydal. They were backstage, and they were talking about how the Blackpool Combat Club don't need to wait for a fight, and that they will see them Friday on Rampage. So we're going to be seeing Matt Sydal, Dante Martin versus the Blackpool Combat Club Friday on Rampage. So should be a good match there. Obviously, the Blackpool Combat Club is going to beat them. And then we had the Owen Hart Foundation quarterfinal tournament for the woman. So it was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus the Joker. And who was the Joker here? My predictions, it could have been Candice LeRae, or it could have been either Athena, aka Amber Moon. But no, it wasn't them two. This was another disappointment to me. The Joker was revealed to be Maki Itoh. Maki Itoh was the Joker. Maki Itoh hasn't been on AEW television since last year, I think since last March. And Maki Itoh, she's just absolutely cringe, coming out there, singing. And then there was a point where Britt Baker ended up hitting Maki Itoh's head on the turnbuckle, and Maki Itoh's just going, "Rah!" And then, yeah, that was what Maki Itoh was doing. And I'm like, oh god, this is so cringe. So we had Maki Itoh and Britt Baker. I guess they were former tag team partners. So Britt Baker ended up telling Maki Itoh to lay down for the pin. Itoh lay down, and she ended up trying to catch Britt Baker with an inside cradle. And then, Maki Itoh just whining like, yeah, I swear, she was whining. And then all of a sudden, Itoh ended up flipping Britt Baker off. Britt Baker then ended up going for the sling blade on Maki Itoh, and then she ended up going for the cover. Itoh ended up kicking out. So Britt Baker was focusing on Itoh's jaw, and she ended up launching Itoh across the ring, and she ended up getting a near fall as Itoh ended up responding with a suplex to Britt Baker. Baker ended up sending Itoh headfirst into the top turnbuckle, and that is when Itoh ended up firing up, going, "Ah!" And then, yeah, that was what Itoh was doing. And then she ended up headbutting Britt Baker. Maki Itoh ended up aiming for the diving headbutt, and Baker ended up moving out of the way. Itoh ended up putting on the brakes, and then she ended up hitting another headbutt, to which Baker ended up responding quickly with a thrust kick, and then Baker ended up locking in the lockjaw on Itoh, and there you go. Britt Baker ended up winning the match. Britt Baker's moving on to the semifinals in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And then post-match, Toni Storm made her way out, and we had a stare down between Toni Storm and Britt Baker. And that was that. Overall, this match between Britt Baker and Maki Itoh, it was, decent women's match here in the tournament. And then we had Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone was in the ring, and he promoted that next week will be 3 years. It'll be the 3-year anniversary show of AEW. Since AEW ended up launching 3 years ago. So Serena Deeb ended up coming out. Serena Deeb ended up saying that she is sick of hearing Tony Schiavone talk. Deeb ended up saying that she heard that Tony Schiavone said she couldn't beat Thunder Rosa, and that made him an idiot. To which Serena Deeb ended up saying that Dustin Rhodes also had a lot to say last week. So Serena Deeb ended up calling Dustin Rhodes out. She ended up saying that, of course, the crowd would cheer the poster boy of failure. Deeb ended up claiming that he's just as much of an idiot as Tony Schiavone. Deeb ended up saying that she respected Dusty. She ended up saying that he knows all the dues that she had to pay and how hard it was to be a woman in that era. She ended up saying that she put breast implants into her body to satisfy old perverts, and that she shaved her head and got no respect. Of course, that was when she was in WWE, when it was her and CM Punk and Luke Gallows, when they were part of the Straight Edge Society. So glad that she referenced that. So Deeb ended up saying that she wants to know why Dustin ended up saying that he can't beat Thunder Rosa. So Serena Deeb ended up claiming that he doesn't have the balls to answer her. And when she beats Thunder Rosa, Dustin will respect her. So Dustin was, out there, and Serena Deeb ended up slapping Dustin. Thunder Rosa then ended up charging in at Serena Deeb, but Dustin ended up stopping her. Thunder Rosa accidentally hit Dustin. And so Dustin was, selling that. And Serena Deeb ended up nailing Thunder Rosa with the AEW Women's World Championship, laying out Thunder Rosa. And I'm like, how did Thunder Rosa not see Serena Deeb was coming to hit her with the title? I felt like Thunder Rosa just stood there, and then she saw Serena Deeb come with the title, and then just sold the shot from Serena Deeb with the title. That's how I felt. But overall, this was, decent segment here. Very good promo from Serena Deeb here. Main event. Adam Cole versus Jeff Hardy, Owen Hart Foundation tournament, semifinal match. And this was a good match, even though there was little time for them to go at it. So Matt Hardy was also out there. As Jeff Hardy ended up making his way to the ring, Adam Cole ended up jumping Jeff Hardy from behind and started taking him down. So as the match began, Jeff Hardy ended up taking down Adam Cole. He ended up dropping Cole down to the mat. He ended up diving from the ring apron and continued his attack on Adam Cole. But Adam Cole ended up turning things around. He ended up sending Jeff Hardy into the ring stairs. Adam Cole continued his attack on Jeff Hardy in the corner. He ended up pushing Jeff Hardy down to the rope. Cole ended up nailing a neck breaker, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Jeff ended up kicking out. Jeff ended up responding to the beatdown with a pinfall attempt. And we had Adam Cole and Jeff Hardy. They were trading punches. Cole ended up hitting the enziguri to Jeff Hardy. So Jeff ended up managing to drop Adam Cole down to the mat, and he gained some control of the match. As Jeff was looking to dive from the top rope, Adam Cole connected with a super kick in midair, and then Jeff Hardy ended up getting to the ropes to stop the pinfall, and Jeff Hardy ended up nailing a stunner. He then ended up heading up to the top rope. He missed it with the Swanton Bomb because Adam Cole then ended up hitting the boom. So he went for the cover, and there you go. Adam Cole ended up winning the match. Post-match, we had Matt and Jeff Hardy. They were talking trash with Adam Cole. The Young Bucks end up appearing, and Adam Cole ended up taking the Hardys out from behind, and we had a 3-on-1 beatdown. So Sting and Darby Allin end up coming out. So Sting and Darby Allin end up beating down on Adam Cole and the Bucks. And then Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly end up appearing. So Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish end up taking down Darby Allin. Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly hit a chair shot to Sting's back, which did nothing to Sting. So Kyle O'Reilly was trying to hit Sting again. Sting ended up blocking it, and he grabbed the chair. Sting threw the chair at Kyle O'Reilly's head, and it was just a beatdown from there. You had them wrap the chair on Sting's leg. Kyle O'Reilly ended up diving down from the top rope to the chair. He ended up snapping the chair and hurt Sting's leg in the process. And the show quickly went off the air because they were out of time. So pretty much that was basically that. But overall, this was a very good match from Adam Cole and Jeff Hardy, even though they didn't get a lot of time for the match, to go longer. But it was good. It was good for a semifinal match. But overall, Dynamite tonight was a very enjoyable show. Good show. Even though the Jokers, to me, were disappointing, in my opinion. But anyways, that's it for my review of Dynamite. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on Friday for the SmackDown and AEW Rampage review. So, see you all Friday.